Today I'm going to talk about why people quit. The psychology why people quit whenever starting a new venture. Because every time you're having, let's say, even in relationships, in business opportunities, right? Would you always start with an informed optimism, right? And because you're like, oh, this new person is so great. Oh, this business idea it's gonna make me a millionaire right off the bat, right? And then you start knowing the person, you start knowing the business or working on the business, right? And while you're there, you see all the challenges, right? Oh my goodness. So I cannot work only from 8 to 4. I was expecting to work only like 3 or 4 hours a day. Well, now as a business owner, either you're risking your money, right? Your time, and you're putting your skills on top of that. So when you see all the work that it entails, you're like, oh my goodness, maybe opening my bakery is not that easy. Oh my goodness, or maybe launching this new technology startup is not that easy, right? And you start seeing at all the challenges moving forward about losing money. What if you open a restaurant and no customers come into your restaurant? What are you gonna do? You're just gonna sit down at a restaurant and expect like people just to come and eat your burgers or your Italian food, Mexican food you're gonna open? Of course not. You have to save your baby. And what fixes everything? Sales. Sales, even if you're running a bad business, right? What am I mean a bad business? If you're sloppy, all that, but you still have customers buying your products, right? You can fix your systems on the way. And after that, once people start seeing like the challenges moving forward, even in my business, right? People are excited about the growth, that they can partner up with me, I can promote into a market. But once they see the challenges about the sales, the rejection, and how hard they have to work, they have to develop the skills in order to learn the first part of the business, they enter an informed pessimism stage, right? And it's kind of like, oh my goodness, this is tough, right? Oh my goodness, I don't know, I'm gonna make rent for the business. I'm not gonna can I pay myself even from this business? Or I'm gonna keep investing from my savings. What am I gonna do, right? And everybody falls into a stage that we call the valley of despair. And that's when people tap out, right? Even in normal jobs, we're like, oh yeah, this job is so amazing. Then you start knowing the people, then you hate your manager, and then you enter the valley of despair because the moment you hit plateau and there's nothing else after that. And then it's when you see the real character of a person, because it's gonna reveal it. Either you're gonna be able to endure it and adapt to it, or just gonna quit and say the phrase that everybody says when they tried something, like, oh, that wasn't for me, right? And I give this example. It's like, if I try to learn the piano and I tell you like, hey, I'm gonna learn the piano in 2 months, right? I'm gonna be able to play this basic song. And then you talk to me after 2 months, it's like, Tony, how's your piano lessons? So like, are you able to play this song? No, you know what? That wasn't for me. Well, guess what? Or I'm playing the guitar, oh, my fingers were hurting, my rhythm was not there. In reality, I didn't try enough. I didn't work and didn't practice to actually close the gap on the skill that I needed to do to not to play the piano, right? And in that valley of despair, everybody goes through all that stuff, whatever you want to do in business, personal. And then the math starts to make sense. Because for example, when I was in that stage, when I was learning new skills in the beginning, I was like, oh, okay, now this makes sense, because now I understand why not everybody's a millionaire, because it's tough. It's just really, really tough. I have to like kill the old version of me to become a new version that is going to take me to this next stage. And then I start a different skill. And then I have to actually scale the business. And the current self and the current organization I have in my business is not going to be enough. So I go through another valley of despair. But once you start figuring it out, right, and the math starts to make sense, and you close the gap in your character, the type of person you have to be, and the skills you need to have to overcome it, right, now you enter a stage of informed optimism, right? You're kind of like going up. And that leads me to one of my favorite quotes I love. One of my favorite book is called Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, which is not actually a book. It's actually just like, he just wrote his thoughts and he embraced a whole Stoic philosophy on it. But he talks about how to overcome obstacles, right? And his mindset on it, he says, the impediment of action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way, right? And there's always a way to see the challenges. Either because of this challenge, oh my goodness, I cannot overcome. This is too hard. I have to step back and tap out, right? But in that phrase, and that part of the part of history that Marcus Aurelius was living through, He was teaching himself or reassuring himself that, hey, the obstacle is going to be the way to what we need to become and what we need to reach. So either we go around it or become strong enough to be able to overcome these challenges that is actually affecting us at this point, right? And this is what people don't understand. And I go over and over to all the leaders in my office that, hey, oh my goodness, I cannot do this because of my dad. I cannot do this because I have a kid. I cannot do this because I have a rough life, man. I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle all this stuff. It's like, actually not. The obstacle is the way. Because you had a tough life, because of your parents, because of your kid, right? That's going to be the way. So either that monster that is in front of you, it's stronger than you, so it kills you on the way, right? Because I tell everybody, I work with everybody's goals to be able to develop into reaching their higher self. One of my dreams is having a big family. And when I see obstacles personally, is I imagine, I don't have any sons or any kids, but I imagine having like a little kid, a mini me, and asking me like, hey dad, why cannot we go to Disney on a Tuesday like my friends? And hey dad, why can we go to the same vacations? Or, oh, I would love to drive that fast car with you, dad. And I don't want to tell them, oh, it's because your dad quit. Oh, it's because your dad had all these issues with your grandparent, and because he screwed me over and now you have to pay the price. Oh no, that will never happen to me. So I create like these enemies in my head that the moment I stop, I prove all those enemies right. Family members, friend, people that seem low, my goodness, you're crazy. You're not eating, you're not sleeping, all this stuff. You guess what? Yeah. But putting all this sacrifices in front of me has been able to understand the philosophy of the obstacle is the way. This obstacle is actually an opportunity for me to get into a greater self in order to achieve my goals. Otherwise, that's going to be my limit. So I leave this message to everybody that at the moment you see an obstacle, don't be like a normal person. A normal person will always quit, and that's okay because nobody likes pain. But if you're able to embrace it and understand the benefits about that and put something outside yourself that is greater than you, is going to be able to help you overcome those obstacles. So.